talk.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Now, tell me, do you sleep in that polo?
Almost. Almost. I've run into a few issues where once I was wearing the last year's shirt, which has blue stripes instead of the silver.
Right.
I was wearing a shirt with the wrong branding on. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not always easy, you know.
Listen, sponsors are paying good money to be on that shirt. You got to make sure you have the right one on.
Exactly. No, I mean, to me, they all just look orange,
Right.
papaya, and I put it on, and then after the fact, I'm still, is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one.
What you could always do is if you're running low on the current shirt, you could take a Sharpie and you could cross out the old sponsors and write the new ones in.
Is that how is that a new way of doing it? I need to get some papaya duct tape and put over, and then get a Sharpie.
That's a good idea. Papaya is a very hard color to find.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely is. Yeah.
Super specific. Um, Speaking of drivers, you just 6 weeks ago played in the Live Golf Pro-Am in Indianapolis. That's a golf joke because a driver is a club that you use. And your caddy was none other than your boss, Aaron McLaren team principal, Tony Kanaan.
Yes.
Were you nervous at all to have your boss be your caddy?
Not at all. Not at all. So, some people, most people, I would say, knows that my girlfriend is a collegiate golfer.
Yeah.
And when I found out that I could play the Pro-Am, I was like, surely she's gonna caddy for me, right? I
Sure.
mean, that makes sense. Obviously, she's there supporting me on race weekends, and I go out and I help her and caddy for her
Yeah.
in some of her tournaments. So it was just very fitting.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, she couldn't go because she had to go back to school.
Yeah.
Basically that day. So when I found out, I was like, hey, wouldn't it be fun having TK on the bag?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, there's no way in hell he's gonna do that. So I just asked him, and he was like, yeah. Like, sure. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. And he was like, no, but I'm sure it sounds fun.
Now, I know you play a lot with Scott McLaughlin, and I think you used to play with Graham Rahal before he started really focusing on his business and his kids. But does Tony play golf? I don't think I've ever seen anything on his social media of him playing golf.
He's never swung a club in his entire life. So I mean, I knew it was going to be very interesting. I knew he wasn't going to do any club selections for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, like typically for those kind of events or those kind of situations, you would choose someone that you play with on a regular basis that know roughly your yardages and maybe played the course before or something like that.
Like Scotty probably would have been a good option since you play with him so often.
Yeah, but could you imagine what that would look like from the outside? He probably would have been the one that wanted to play. We should have alternated.
Yeah, for sure. How did you shoot in the Pro-Am?
It was a scramble. We didn't really have a score,
Okay.
right? Because we're playing as a group of four, and we're playing a scramble off of that. But I mean, it would probably have been around 10 over, roughly,
Yeah,
I would say. I did make an eagle, which was nice.
that's impressive. I
Yeah.
I picked up golf during the pandemic, and I just never have been able to, pun intended, get into the swing of things. It's just a very difficult sport.
It
Um,
is. It's I went to the Ryder Cup this weekend and watched them play and now I kind of have the ick of wanting to go back out and play.
yeah.
But the problem is I'm gonna think I've learned so many things and I'm gonna be so disappointed right after.
You said you got the ick. Are you saying that you want to go out and play, or you don't want to go out and
I
play?
want to go out and play.
Because I feel like the ick is something different.
Well, the ick to go play,
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
right?
So
Hey,
what was the
I'm a European. English is my second language. Don't hold me off a hose here.
what was the experience like going to the Ryder Cup?
It was very chaotic. I loved it because I ended up going with Zach Brown,
Hmm.
and of course Zach doesn't go anywhere without trying to do business, of
Sure.
course. So it was a little bit of an interesting dynamic because he was obviously there to try to do, and his whole group was there to try to speak to people, and the
Yeah.
only thing I wanted to do was watch golf.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of there.
Right.
And I kind of just walked around by myself for the most part, and enjoyed and wanted to to learn and watch and cheer and all of this. I know the Højgaard twins a little bit. So obviously Nikolai was on the 23 Ryder Cup that won in Rome, and then the twins basically swapped for this year, and Rasmus was on the team this year, and we randomly met in the at the U.S. Embassy in December last year because we both had to renew our visas, so we
You
were
both
set
just happened to be at the U.S. Embassy. You weren't there
at the same
for an
time. No,
event.
no, at the exact same time, all random. It
Yeah.
was the weirdest thing, and there was two voices speaking inside the embassy, and it was us two speaking. Everybody else was quiet.
I
Kind
know
of
I
fun.
run into my friends at the U.S. Embassy all the time. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah. I mean,
happens more often than you would think.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
sure.
Going back to golf, are there any other sports that you watch or are a fan of outside of motorsport?
Not really. I mean, I'm not really a big football guy. I'm not a I mean what you guys would call soccer, the real football, the
Yep.
one where you use your feet. I love watching national games
Yep.
of whatever sport it is. I mean, I follow the Olympics as well, because I feel like the way nations unite and support themselves in a sense, their own people, I think is just fantastic, and I love that kind of thing. Versus, I think the Ryder Cup this year is a great example of that, right? I
Yeah.
think Rory spoke about it perfectly in the sense that the U.S. fans were kind of trying to bring the European players down more than supporting their own players. Um, and it was very interesting to watch because I some of the situations that are now floating around the socials I was there to witness myself, and I think the power of social media goes both ways, right? I think everything is made worse than it was. Some things have been better than they were in real life, and I
Yeah.
think that's just how it goes, right?
I do feel like in a lot of other sports, there's a sense of tribalism that maybe you don't see in IndyCar because uh, people tend to follow individual drivers as opposed to teams. I know Arrow McLaren, I think, is an exception because McLaren is like this unbelievable brand. They have great brand cohesion. You always know when you're watching the cars on track which ones are Arrow McLaren. But with the exception of Arrow McLaren, I do feel like the the general IndyCar fan tends to support a lot of different drivers and a lot of different teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I also think, because we don't have a team championship,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's essentially only a drivers championship, and an engine manufacturer championship. So I think there is a split in that sense that makes it very difficult, and different in that sense. I mean, we've all seen Will Powell's face float around the fans, right? The
Yeah.
big cutout board. I have seen one of myself as well, and I think that's the beauty of IndyCar fans, in my opinion. It's they're diehard fans.
Yeah. I want to go back to soccer because I know in other interviews you've mentioned that your brother doesn't like to visit the States that much, but you did say in an interview he is going to come back for the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, he already broke the promise because he came back for the 500 this year,
Oh,
right?
okay. Uh,
So he showed up for the 500 this year. There was a little bit of a fun story about my Toronto win
mhm.
because he was supposed to go to Toronto for that weekend be, because of a deal that we had made prior that year, where I put it on pole at the Indy Road Course, but I spoke to him the night before I qualified, and he said, if you qualify on pole, I'll come to Toronto. I ended up putting it on pole, and everything was sorted. He was going to go with a bunch of his school friends to Toronto, and then they ended up bailing the week before. And then I won the race, and he was very unhappy with not having gone. And I said, well, that's just how it is. And then when he told me in the off season that he was planning on coming to the 500, I'm like, you better bail on me this time. He didn't. He did. He showed up, and he enjoyed it. And I think he was the one who actually introduced me to the Indianapolis 500.
Wow.
He's 3 years older than me.
Right. And
So
y'all
I
raced
think
together in F4, correct?
we did one race together in
Okay.
in our entire lives. We've only competed against each other once.
Okay.
We've been on a racetrack twice before. The first ever time didn't go so well.
Yeah.
It was in go-karts. We're both a lot younger, obviously, but we ended up
Yeah.
crashing together, and one drove over the other, and it wasn't a pleasant sight for our parents.
Yeah.
I will say, and When I raced against him in F4, it was during the national F4 championships, so the Danish championship, and he was in the hunt for and in the fight for the championship. So I was only there to race for a one-off event, and I technically wasn't allowed to beat him, which is, fine. I was the one-off driver, and we had a great weekend, which is
Yeah.
the most important.
You were talking about in an interview with James about taking him on a trip. Did you guys ever take that trip together? And where did you
Me and
go?
my brother.
Yeah, you were talking about taking him somewhere else in the world because he didn't want to come to the U.S.
I want to go to Alaska.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't want to go to Alaska because he doesn't like the cold. So that's not happening. But funny you say that because I spoke to him I don't know, how do you know this?
I watched a ton of interviews before I came in here.
Well, I mean, there's no way you would know about what we spoke about today.
I definitely did not. I promise you that I'm not tapping your phone lines, all right?
So I was at the shop this morning. I basically just came from the race shop
Yeah.
and I was on the phone to him, driving there, and when I got there, and he was asking me if we should go on a training camp, like go to the Canary Islands outside of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm a little surprised.
Train for what?
I mean, just like a 2 week trip where we kind of just do some physical training, but it as a vacation in a sense. But there's this place called Club La Santa, which
Okay.
is basically a so I went there with the Danish Motorsports Federation in 2015, 14, 15, where a bunch of like the younger generation of drivers was sent out there for a training camp.
Yeah.
And it's this huge compound of training facilities that has restaurants and a bunch of entertainment as well. But so a lot of professional soccer teams goes. There is a compound in Tenerife that I went with Alpine um, multiple years as well. There's all over the world. But he was asking me about this morning.
I got to
So,
be honest with you, Christian. This does not sound
well,
like a
it was morning for
vacation.
me. It was afternoon for him already. So,
Right. But this does not sound like a vacation to me.
no, but it does sound like family time, brother
Okay.
with brother, right?
Sure.
Because he wanted it to do it with me, not with the entire family,
Right.
right? So
What does your brother do now that he's no longer racing?
he chose a very different line of work
Okay.
that if you ever see me do that, please send me to a very dark place because I mean, it's because we are very different personalities. We're very, very different people. He's the
Okay.
smart one, I'm the dumb one. And he now studies cognitive science.
Wow.
So from racing to cognitive science, I mean, if I ever take that spontaneous of a U-turn in my career, I think something's gone terribly wrong for me.
So you can say with 100% certainty you will never become a scientist.
1000% certainty. I mean, he got basically straight A's in school.
Yeah.
I basically just passed,
Mm-hmm.
and I could not give two F's
Yeah.
about school, about grades,
Sure.
about any of that.
Yeah.
And he was a perfectionist in that sense. He wanted to learn. He wanted to read. And I mean, I don't think I've read a book in 10 years.
Yeah, I know the last time we spoke, we I don't know if you remember this, but we spoke at the 500 for about
Yeah,
10 minutes and you told me
yeah.
that you don't read.
Uh,
You did clarify that you know how to read,
I
but
do know how to read.
you choose
Yeah.
not to read for fun, for entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I get a contract presented to me, I will read it. That's
Sure.
that's my one exception.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm never going to buy a book to read it.
Well, I will say, even though you think you'd never be a scientist, you could probably play one on TV. If you wore a white
I
lab
could
coat,
play a scientist.
yeah, you look like professorial, especially when you went to that award ceremony the other week when you're wearing that
Uh,
tweed jacket.
yeah,
You looked and the glasses. You looked very smart.
I did. Oh, well, that's at least I look smart. I didn't feel smart.
Now I want to pivot a little bit. We're talking about your brother. I'd like to talk about your dad. Your dad was a rally driver.
Uh-huh.
Does he take direction well?
Um, from on the road.
Yeah, because as we all know, in rally, you have the co-driver or navigator sitting in the front seat with them, reading pace notes, like what lies ahead, where to turn the severity of the turn, what obstacles to look for.
Uh-huh.
I imagine you have to be able to take feedback on the fly.
Yeah, I never actually thought about it. I think, pretty normal, I guess.
Yeah.
He's not one of those that tells you to shut up.
Have you ever had to sit in the front seat and give him directions as if you were the co-driver or navigator,
No.
but it's just a trip to the grocery store?
No. I mean, I would hope he knows where he's going, right? But no, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think he's particularly bad. I don't think he's particularly good either. I think he's pretty normal.
I want to pivot a little bit. You were born in 2001.
Uh-huh.
A year that gave us bangers like Drops of Jupiter by Train,
Okay.
Where the Party At by Jagged Edge with Nelly, Survivor by Destiny's Child.
Uh-huh.
But 2001 also gave us a professional race car driver, Christian Lundgaard, and coincidentally, Incubus's greatest song ever, a breakthrough single by the title of Drive.
Interesting.
Coincidence? I think not.
Maybe not.
Do you know any of those artists that I just named?
I do know Survivor. So here's the thing, like I can look up a song on whatever platform it may be, and I have the song singing in my head, but one, I don't know the name of it, or I don't know the artist, or I know one or the other and I still can't find it. I'm very bad in those kind of situations. Um, but yeah, I mean, I might, yeah. There's another fun story which not a lot of people knows. But if you start doing the math, it kind of makes a little more sense. So my dad became a European champion in rally in 2000, and I showed up in 2001.
That's very similar to the Kevin Magnussen getting pole in Brazil story.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing.
Oh man,
I mean,
that's
and it
very
was funny
funny.
because I had done the math, and I was telling my parents about it, and then they were just laughing at me, kind of like, oh, we hadn't thought about it that way. Not like, oh, you caught us or whatever, right? It was I always think it's funny. I consider myself a victory child.
It'd be very funny to see the highlight of your dad winning the rally championship, and then you get the SpongeBob a few moments later.
Yeah.
And it's like 9 months later, and it's like baby Christian Lundgaard popping out.
Yeah, I mean, it's they never really confirmed anything. I
Yeah.
mean, we all just kind of laughed about it, but at the end of the day, it's about 24 years ago now.
I love that.
They probably don't even remember.
Speaking of Kevin Magnussen, there's so many iconic drivers from Denmark. You have Jan Magnussen, or do you say Magnussen, not Magnussen?
Yeah, I guess we'll say Magnussen.
You have Jan Magnussen, of course, his son Kevin, both of whom driven in Formula One, but also IndyCar, even though Jan Magnussen drove, I believe, when it was kart.
Yeah.
And endurance racing. You also have a lot of Danish drivers from endurance racing. You had Tom Belso, who was the first Danish Formula One driver. Are you familiar with him at all?
Who?
Tom Belso. He only had 5 entries in Formula One, 2 starts with Frank Williams Racing, but he's most famous for starting Belso's cereal. Are you familiar with Belso's cereal?
It rings a bell.
It's like a style of muesli that
Okay.
is sold in Denmark, apparently.
Okay.
You also have Nicholas Chiesa. You have
Yeah.
Tom Christensen, a.k.a. Mr. Le Mans, who holds the record for most 24 hours Le Mans wins with 9.
Uh-huh.
Did you look up to any of these drivers as a kid, either watching them or watching old races, or feeling an extra sense of inspiration knowing that there are other drivers from Denmark who have had incredible careers in motorsport?
I mean, for sure. I think it's obvious, right? And I
Yeah.
think you're following the greats for whatever nationality they have. And I think, there is a thing, and we all unite when we're following a fellow native, and obviously we're paying attention. We want to do better. We want to be the next one. And
Yeah.
as a kid, you have all these dreams, and obviously I look the most up to Dad,
Yeah.
which I think makes sense. In the way, um, it all worked out, with dad racing, mom doing motocross when she was younger, and my brother racing as well. So it was kind of very much a family project for us.
Yeah.
So I don't think you look too much on the outside of
Yeah.
what other people were doing, because it was more learn from dad's mistakes, learn from brother's mistakes within the four-wheeled world. I will say there is the big Jan Magnussen crash at Laguna Seca back in the IMSA days,
Hmm.
when he raced in the Corvette. I think he broke his hip in that accident where I think they had it like a little toolbox in the door panel that actually fell off under impact and broke his hip, something like that.
Wow.
But that was over the line at Laguna on the final lap
Hmm.
for the win. There's this famous video of the Corvette and the Porsche, banging around for that entire lap, and that entire highlight is just stuck in my head ever since I saw it.
Yeah.
And I loved that track ever since, and now I hold the track record
Yeah.
at Laguna and IndyCar, and it's kind of like a little bit of a fairy tale story from that.
That's
So
so cool.
that's kind of the only real story, in terms of looking up to.
So is Laguna Seca by far your favorite track on the IndyCar schedule?
From a driving perspective, yes.
Yeah. What
It's it,
was?
it's difficult to race at now with
Yeah.
with the weight that we have. But I'd say from a one lap, especially in 23 when they repaved the track, I mean, it was so fast.
Do you remember your first race ever? Not just IndyCar, just like first race period
Oh
at
yeah, I
Laguna
do.
Seca.
At Laguna Seca,
Yeah.
yes.
What was that experience like? Knowing that you had like this affinity for the track already, and then
Yeah.
showing up for the first time, what was that experience like?
I mean, I won the rookie championship.
Yeah.
This thing right here.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Very heavy. Very, very heavy. Nice little glass trophy. I didn't qualify very well, and I
Hmm.
was up against David Malukas in the rookie championship, and I think he qualified fourth or fifth. He was
Yeah.
in the fast six,
Yeah.
so I was like, oh shit, we need to have a good race, or he needs to have a bad race, and we drove all our way up to finish fifth and won the rookie title.
When
So
you,
I mean, it was kind of it all came together at that
yeah,
one place, and obviously it's a lot of years after Jan's experience.
yeah. Where when you already had an emotional attachment to a track like Laguna Seca, was it hard to sort of focus and like get into work mode or
Not at all.
no?
Not at all. I mean, you just have this. I mean, I guess you can use examples of, you've seen a big crash, or you've seen a big highlight or a moment of something in a racing series around the world, and suddenly you find yourself in that place,
Yeah.
right? Or at that part of the track, or etc. I think, yes, you think about it very shortly.
Yeah.
I mean, while you're driving, you don't think about much.
Right.
I mean, you're the only thought that goes through my mind is faster, faster.
When you're not on the track, do you sim race at all in your own free time?
Not a lot, but I do a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily say I sim race. I sim
Okay.
drive.
Okay.
So like I will a day I'm bored, I will turn on the sim and then wait the 3 hours it takes to update everything, because it's been like 6 months since I was in it last. And then I'll drive basically for two weeks straight, where
Yeah.
I'm just trying different things, and if it's from a setup perspective or different tracks, different cars. Sometimes we're a few friends that gets on, and I mean I have a very fun memory of we're a bunch of IndyCar drivers and IndyNext drivers, and some of our friends that got on, and we did Indy 500, but we put max downforce on all of us and max fuel, and then it was just about bump drafting and who could get the biggest draft and overtake the most cars.
Yeah.
But as we all know, there's always that one guy who doesn't get the memo and
And who
just
was
takes
that?
everybody out. I mean, I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus, but I would say it was one of the friends, not any of the drivers.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, so I guess that made a little sense. But there was always that one guy that doesn't get the memo, I guess.
Who won that virtual Indy 500?
It wasn't actually a race. It was just like an open session. I
Okay,
mean, we
got it.
weren't we weren't doing laps from that perspective, but that's kind of one of those scenarios. I'd rather want to do that than go and drive a sim race against these guys that spends day in, day out, that I can't compete with. I mean, I don't spend enough time on in the virtual world to be good enough at that.
So it's not a one for one like transfer of skills. You need to make an adjustment.
Well, the thing is, a simulator is very easy to manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
So because it is in the real world, of course, and obviously tire models works in different ways, and different cars has to be driven in certain ways. And I think for me, when I'm driving the IndyCar in the game, yes, it might feel relatively similar, and I can drive the car as fast as I possibly can from a real life experience perspective. But then you'll see these guys that spends 5 hours a day on just driving around that car. Of course, they will beat me because they know every little thing about this car in the game that I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, that I
Yeah.
don't want to take the time to figure out, because what is it really going to benefit me, right? But I will. I mean, I will get on and drive the Indy car at the tracks that we have, that we drive on, and do long runs and try different things from fuel safe perspectives, tire management, because obviously there it has tire deg. It's not necessarily simulated to the right way of the real world, but you still see go from 100 to 20, let's say, right? So like, how can I see if I can influence that in different ways and just experiment with driving styles? These kind of things I can obviously do, but I don't really care if someone beats me.
Okay. As we've talked about before, you are from Denmark.
That is very true.
Who is on your Danish Mount Rushmore? If you could put four people, are you considered
Oh,
to be the greatest Danish people of all time? Not exclusively drivers, just
uh-huh.
any Danish people. Who's on your Danish Mount Rushmore?
Mr. Le Mans,
Yeah, Tom
Tom
Christensen.
Christensen. I would put
Any
uh
actors? Anyone like Mads Mikkelsen, Viggo Mortensen?
yeah, Mads Mikkelsen probably would be on there,
Yeah.
in all honesty, but I would put the founder of Bestseller.
What's I don't know that. What is it?
So Jack and Jones. So you know the sponsor that was on Kevin Magnussen and Haas,
Okay.
the clothes brand. So the Jack and Jones is a sister company of the main company, which is Bestseller.
Okay, got it.
Anders Hogg Poulsen is his name. He's done a lot to the community of Denmark and
Yeah.
sports in general, and if it's schools to buildings to malls, etc. Been
Yeah.
very influential to the community. Who else? So now we're on three.
What about Hans Christian Andersen?
Yeah, again, I don't read.
That's right. You don't read, but he wrote some bangers. He wrote The Little Mermaid, The Emperor's New
Y-
Clothes, The Ugly Duckling.
Yeah, yeah.
Those things have stood the test of time, almost 200 years. But you
Yeah.
don't read. This is
But
your
hey,
Mount
again,
Rushmore. You get to pick who's on there.
yeah, but again, that's 176 years before my time anyway. I mean, who else? Which athletes have we had? Um, could be actually. I mean, I spent a little bit of time with Casper Schmeichel, which is what the so Peter Schmeichel was the Danish goalkeeper. His son's Casper. Peter was very one of the names that really stood out.
Hmm.
Now that I'm trying to think of it, and I mean, there's been a bunch of good soccer players.
That's true. Yeah.
Uh, Alan Simonson, um, Michael Laudrup. Um, yeah, one of those.
What do you like? So we know like during a season, 17 race season, you're locked in. Your schedule is dictated by the race calendar, team activities, not just like training and getting ready for the next race, but also you have sponsorship obligations, appearances. Like you're not really making your own schedule. You're just showing up and being told when to go and where. How do you adjust from having such a regimented period of your life, like out of these 6 months, and then having all of this free time in the off season?
Well, I think you forgot that I'm an era McLaren driver. Um,
No days
no, I
off.
mean, hey, it. So here's the thing, like it might look excessive from the outside, but it isn't as bad as it really seems. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I enjoy a lot of it regardless because I get to meet so many people, and you build relations to these partners, to these people, and sponsors, and at the end of the day, sometimes you actually you look more forward to spending time with them versus, hey, I don't really want to go. Yes, there's times where it's super inconvenient, where you really have stuff that you want to do,
Right.
but at the end of the day, I see it the same way with, my personal sponsors and investors and managers. I wouldn't be here without them.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, the more that I can do for them, give back, the better it is. And even in the off season, I don't really have much of an off season. I mean, yes, I do have, like today, I don't have much to do this week. I don't have a whole lot to do, but then, I want to go support my girlfriend. I want to go to her tournaments and be there for her. And she lives in New Orleans, so go down there once in a while. And then
Hmm.
I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Austin. I'm going different places. Obviously, I got to go to the Ryder Cup.
Does she play
These
for
different places.
Tulane?
Yes.
Green Wave.
Oh, yeah.
Right on. Cool. Okay, so you're like it's still pretty busy. So it's not much of an adjustment. It's kind of like same but different.
It is just without the racing part.
Got it. I
So
want to talk.
we basically left out the good part.
Exactly the thing that you came here to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's do some. This is just a rapid fire question. These are a bunch of random questions that don't have anything to do with each other, and then we'll be done. Sound good?
Alrighty.
Cool. You've already answered this before. I'm going to ask again. What's your favorite IndyCar track that you've ever driven?
Laguna.
Where would you love IndyCar to go next?
Chats.
Love that. What is the weirdest thing you've ever signed?
Not responding.
What's the weirdest DM you've ever gotten from a fan?
Oh, there's many.
Any like come to like right off the bat? Any come to mind?
I mean, there's some. I mean, there's just weird stuff where you just like, what? I mean, I've once been asked to come meet someone at a gas station.
Did you do it?
No.
You got to do it for the plot.
Yeah, but I also don't want to go to a random gas station.
Why did they want to meet you at a random gas station? Okay. Maybe they needed money for gas. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean,
Okay. Aside from your pit crew, aside from your team, which pit crew would assemble IKEA furniture the fastest?
how would you know if someone's good at assembling furniture?
It's about teamwork.
Yeah,
A pit stop's like
yeah,
a
but hey,
dance. It's knowing your
then
roles.
we're winning.
Someone's
We're
got
winning
to
first,
hold
second, and third.
Someone's got to hold the instructions. Someone's got to lay out all the parts. Someone's got to hold that little weird tool that they give you, and I'm not sure whether it's an Allen wrench or a screwdriver.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But hey, we love IKEA furniture.
Okay. You're going on a road trip with any three IndyCar drivers. Who's in your car with you?
Any three.
Any three.
Will Power,
Okay.
Felix Rosenquist,
Okay.
and probably Callum Isla.
Nice.
I would say, yeah.
I like it. Last TV show you binged when you should have been sleeping.
There's many there. Suits, White Color, Dexter. What did I just watch? Lost.
Lost is good.
Lost is so good. I mean, the
Yeah.
first time I watched it, I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And I just rewatched it because I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, it's so good.
I was kind of bummed by the ending, though.
It's so weird.
I wanted more answers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Blacklist. Blacklist is a really good one.
But yeah.
Yeah, I love Blacklist. I mean, the one thing that just keeps going on when I go to bed, it's like you don't really want to watch an episode of something if you know you're going to fall asleep or at least be tired to the point where you can't follow it. So I always put on NCIS. And I mean, I could not tell you the last time I actually paid attention.
I love
It's
that,
the
like,
one thing that's on my TV in my bedroom whenever I'm going to bed. NCIS.
I love that NCIS is your white noise machine.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched them all so many times that it doesn't matter at this point. It's like, I can be completely like paying attention to something completely different and then
Yeah.
suddenly just hearing something and I know exactly what's going on.
Oh, that's interesting. So you probably could watch NCIS while you drive an IndyCar.
Probably, but I think the reason is because when I was growing up, every time I would come home from school,
Mm-hmm.
it would always be on at the time I would get home from school. So I would
Okay.
get home, the first thing I would do is turn on the TV and watch NCIS.
Okay. Wow.
So it's like it's stuck in my memory, and obviously through all my years in school, I've seen all of them multiple times. So now when I watch it, like I know exactly what's going on.
So you are a big NCIS fan.
I wouldn't necessarily say a big NCIS fan, but I mean I do like watching it, yes.
I'm someone who's never seen an episode of NCIS, but I would love for
Really?
somebody never. But I would love for someone to like quiz you on NCIS because you might be an NCIS savant.
You may be.
Hollywood is making a movie about your life and career. Who is playing you?
Oh, this is an actor that you don't know, but his name is Charlie McCloskey.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. That
No,
person Danish?
yeah, he's Danish. So he did this TV series where he was playing so he was basically playing like a 10-year-old kid that was going to like a bunch of different places. And I mean, he's just the most hilarious guy.
Is he your age?
No, he's what is he, late 30s now,
Okay.
maybe mid 30s.
I was thinking Nicholas Holt. You know the guy who plays Lex Luthor in the Superman movie. He's also in. You ever watch The Great on Hulu?
No.
Or do you remember the X-Men movies?
Yeah.
All right, you give me Nicholas Holt vibes. Uh,
Apparently some scientist.
yeah, sure, you can play a scientist.
Yeah. Oh, what's his
Um,
name? Ted Lasso. What's his
Jason
name?
Sudeikis.
Yeah.
You'd have Jason Sudeikis play you.
Yeah. Why not?
I love it. Sure, you're just like you seem more serious than him.
No. No. You clearly haven't spent enough time with me. I just asked Crystal. I mean, anyone.
You've now lived in the States for a while. What is the best fast food chain in America?
Chipotle.
I love Chipotle.
Yeah, I
What is your Chipotle order?
White rice, no bean, double chicken, veggies, sometimes corn,
Yeah,
depends. Cheese, guac, and lettuce.
love it.
It's the same order every single time.
I tell you, I could eat Chipotle every day for lunch and dinner. I'm that
Yes.
boring.
Even breakfast.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's
Yeah,
go
yeah.
crazy.
You know what? I'm gonna go get Chipotle on my way to my next thing today.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Who is next? Who is next question? Who is the most famous person in your phone? Is it Ed Sheeran when he signed that cardboard cutout of you? You
No,
guys
I do it. No,
exchanged-
so do you not know Ed Sheeran doesn't have a phone?
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. I do
forgot
have
he
his
got-
tour manager's number though.
Okay.
Ben, and no, who else? I mean, I got Ricciardo, I got Zach, I got Tony Kanaan.
Tony Kanaan, pretty
Who else
famous.
do I have? I have K-Mags. I have,
You have Kevin Magnuson's number?
yes.
Have you ever just called him, being like, "Hey, just wanted to see how you doing. Hope
No,
you're well. Love you."
No. So there's actually a very funny story with this. It was in 2022 when he joined IMSA. Or was
Yeah.
that in 23? I don't know. When he joined IMSA, he did an IndyCar test with Ganassi
Mm-hmm.
at Sebring, which was kind of like this preseason test. And there's this hotel on the track, on the property, and it was around the Super Bowl that year. And I had spoken to him, but I hadn't seen him in forever.
Yeah.
And I'm in the hotel lobby, and here comes Kevin. I didn't know he was doing the test. Here
Yeah.
comes Kevin walking through the front lobby, and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And then we ended up sitting in his room watching the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And I hadn't
Was this the first time you had ever met him?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
So you weren't starstruck or anything?
No.
Okay.
No. No.
Right
I'm
on.
trying to think of who, because I'm pretty sure I have someone in here that's like this low key
I'm not going to
big
ask you to
person.
call them.
No, no, I kind of want to. Let's do like a little quick skim of. No, that's not it. Okay. So who else do we have here? I have Cyril Abitabul's number.
Who's that?
I have. It's the old team principal for Alpine. Now
All
runs
right.
the Hyundai program.
Cyril, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
I have
you were in the Reynolds Driving Academy when he was the team principal. Yeah.
exactly. I
Okay.
have Alex Albon.
Okay.
Um, what else do we have here? I have Apple Denmark. Very important, apparently. Who else is in here? Darren Barnett.
Remind me who Darren Barnett is.
So he's in the Gran Turismo movie, I think.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
He's an actor.
Yes, he's an actor. Darren Barnett.
Oh, yeah. He looks
Yeah.
familiar.
Yes, yes, yes. But what was the other one he played not long ago? He's also in Never Have I Ever.
Yeah, never have I ever anyone but you.
Yeah, he is in the Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
His,
Roadhouse.
he's a good friend of Marcus Ericsson, actually.
Oh, okay. Is he Swedish?
No, he's American.
He's American. Oh, yeah, he's from Los Angeles. Man,
Yes.
Darren Barnett, this guy books. He's done a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Who else do we have in here? I have Kenny Brack. It's so funny because I just recently got a new phone, not the 17, but just before that, like a month before that, because I have Apple Care.
Yeah.
So I just went and my phone was broken, so I just went in and got a new phone.
Shout out to Apple Care.
It tripled all my contacts.
Oh,
So I have 4 contacts of everyone.
I now have 8 times everyone's contact in my phone and I don't know how to fix it.
Exactly. I am very frustrated with this. So there's a fun story. I have a contact here. His name's Captain Vegas.
Yeah.
We were talking about these training camps earlier today.
Right.
Right? Tenerife, there's one in Doha, all this stuff. So we did a training camp in Doha with the Alpine Academy, and our driver for our minivan, his name was Captain Vegas.
Now, did Captain Vegas actually serve in the military, or is it more like an honorary title like Captain Crunch?
No, I would say an ordinary title, kind of deal.
Some might say that's stolen valor, but we'll
but the fact
we'll
that I
let him
still have his
the name.
number is actually pretty funny.
Unless he's like a sea captain.
I don't think so.
No.
No, I mean he didn't have a hook, Captain Hook.
So your driver was a guy named Captain Vegas?
Yeah.
I gotta look this guy up.
What else do we have in here? I almost want to like go through all of this because, because I feel like I've Scott Dixon's number.
Very famous.
His birthday is the day before me, and I remember I called Graham Rahal. It's like, hey, can you give me Scott Dixon's phone number? Because every time I texted, I DM'd him to say happy birthday, the 2 years before, he never responded, never saw the message or anything.
Well, maybe he's not on social that much.
He kind of is sometimes, so I was like, hey, Graham, give me his number. He never responded to my message either.
That's messed up.
I was a little heartbroken.
Scott Dixon, if you're watching, just give it a little thumbs up.
Yeah, just,
say you don't even have to say the full thanks. You can just say THX, and that's all you got to do. It'd mean a lot. It would mean a lot to Christian Lundgaard if you just said thank you.
Yes, I would say the best phone number I have obviously is my girlfriend. That's the most important one.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Who else do we have in here?
I guess on that note, I'll let you go.
Yeah, I even had to look up the address of how long it's gonna take me to get one.
Thank you so much for being so generous with your time. I know we went way over, but I really, really appreciate it. And
we had a great time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed getting to talk to you.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, cool. Thanks, Christian.